See what happens when you start self-snitching? Look at Young Thug. They're using his lyrics to involve him in a murder. You know what I'm saying? They're using his involvement by saying he's slime, young slime, whatever it is, young slime life, whatever. Slime is a blood term back in the 90s. And people in New York used to, they used to say they started that term slime, So they try to blame him for gang affiliation and blame him for confession to a homicide that probably wasn't solved. And they're trying to give him RICO charges. And they're using his lyrics as confessions, as testimonies, as self-snitching. Right? This is why you got to be mindful of what you do, what you say on social media. Facebook is the number one tool they use in indictments. You know what I'm saying? Homeland Security uses Facebook. And they look at gangs as forms of terrorism. Now, is the system corrupt and biased? You bet it is. Because why do they only seem to target us and our kind compared to other nationalities? What's the agenda here? Well, from the face of it, they want to act like they're doing a justice for the community, but their motives and the tactics is so corrupt and unjust. And they're using our own kind through our own prosecutors, particularly women that are in office who are bitter off the black man, who are probably ashamed of being around the black man, probably willing to date outside their rights, thinking it's a come up, and they put their position in their career or title over their own nation. It's like they sellouts. They're using these coons, in other words, to get rid of us off the streets just to please master, their master. You know what I'm saying? For a promotion. This is another form of genocide. This is another CIA tactic. The CIA tactic is pretty much they allow you to join an affiliation or think that affiliation is cool by sponsoring your affiliation, right? Through your labels, Title, Empire, Atlantic, all these different corporations. Death Row, you know what I'm saying? Rock Nation, all these people are in cahoots with the government, to promote and manipulate the youth, especially black and brown youth, for gang activity in way of homicide or suicide by promoting drug use to ruin yourself, your body, the process of elimination to ruin you as a nation. Okay? They want to get rid of you as a race to make you extinct. Okay? So they promote these labels to brainwash the youth, to promote and sponsor homicide and reward them by money just to annihilate each other, us. Because they're not doing this in other forms of music. Any other genre, pop, R&B, they're not doing this. Country music, heavy metal, they're not doing this. Death metal, especially, they're not doing this. They want to target the hip-hop / drill / trap / mumble rap type music. They want to target the inner city youth like they've been doing since beginning of time to make us extinct. They put the poison in our music and promote it that way. Get paid as an artist to promote murder, death, kill on your own kind. Process elimination to make room for other nations to take your territory in your neighborhoods by gentrification. You see, Joe Biden just allowed, I think, 26,000 extra immigrants from Ukraine and other places to live in your neighborhoods now, that are now beautified and gentrified and paid and sponsored by the government. So they got free housing. They get automatic free credit. The Black America never got free credit. We never got free housing even when we lived in the projects. You know, we never was catered to the way they are. There was probably inside meetings trying to tell Joe Biden, listen, I ain't going over there unless you get rid of them gang members or get rid of those blacks here. I don't live in amongst blacks. You know? And these are the FBI, CIA tactics, all of a sudden, to get these task force to sweep every nation, in every hood, every neighborhood, should I say, all throughout the nation. That's what I meant to say. All urban neighborhoods and minority areas. To clean us off the streets to make room for the immigrants. And they use it in the form of gang involvement. Trying to get rid of crime. Now, yes, gangs need to be held accountable if they're doing crime. But there's all types of gangs. America was built off of gangs. The Republicans are a gang. The Democrats are a gang. Are they getting locked up? When Trump was trying to go after those sex traffickers on the Democrats and Republicans, did anyone go to jail? No. They had their own affiliations, their own parties, and their own judges bail themselves out and try to sponsor whatever Trump or the opposition was doing to remain free and keep things under the rug. The only time you hear their dirt get exposed is in election time. The police force are a gang. They do more corrupt things than regular citizens. They rape our women. They extort our people. All the drugs that was confiscated, you think that the majority of the drugs was turned in? No, it's pocketed. Just like border control is a gang. Raping the women from the south of the border, raping the children, extorting the people for money and ransoms, just to give them free access to get into the country. That's a gang that's not being spoke about. Are they targeting any white gangs? Or these biker gangs, the Mongols, the Hells Angels? Huh? The pagans. Those are gangs. Are they targeting them? They have more meth than all the blacks do. Why? Because they friends and they snitch on each other and be cool with the police? And may vote? They excusing off the hook? They got more meth in the suburban neighborhoods. They hold most weed in the suburban neighborhoods. Isn't weed just about legalized anyway in so many states? I'm surprised New York was legalized or the laws they got over there. So what's the big deal if Young Thug had weed in his home? You know? Y'all give us new charges because y'all raided his home in Atlanta for finding guns. Well, obviously the guns are clean because if they weren't and they had bodies on it, y'all would have been exposed that on the news. Doesn't he have Georgia is a right to carry state. That's his constitutional right to bear arms, to protect himself and his family. And he's a celebrity. You telling me that because he's black and he's young, he making money, he can't protect himself? He a celebrity. He allowed to have guns. Majority of America has guns in their home. Especially in the right to carry states like Georgia. He in Georgia. He from Georgia. Okay, he knows people in gangs. What person that's black doesn't know people that are in gangs? That mean that they supposed to be affiliated for whatever crime because they know somebody or grew up with somebody or live across the hall in a tenement building or a project building? That they affiliated because they're the same age? How many people we see in the news done crimes and they probably are relatives or neighbors or childhood friends? Y'all don't sweep anybody else under the bunch like that. I don't see y'all sweeping white America under the bunch like that and locking them up because they know somebody so-called was friends with somebody. If that man ain't do no crime, stop judging him and penalizing him. Because y'all, this is modern day public lynching, everyone. To bring slavery back, to rid us off existence and rid us off the street for free labor for them. This is a public lynching, what they're doing on black America. And they're using these rappers with their songs and their lyrics that they sponsored by the record companies and those labels. They sponsored that and they sold it legally, right? They got y'all thinking it's cool. The culture we have, this rap culture, the hip hop culture, y'all made it look like it's cool to be a blood or a crip or whatever you are. Y'all made it fashionable. He's a rapper. He's working for y'all in the label. So that means to tell me y'all gonna get rid of this man, but make the profit of his music. Keep on his profit of his music. You guys are double crosses. And you're using our own kind, these black coons, so-called prosecutors, to do it for whatever man issues they have or prejudice, bias issues they have against our black youth. Now, if they're wrong and he has something to do with it, then I take my words back. But as far as these little charges they got, they need to get that man his bail. Whatever crime he did in the past, he served his time. He cooperated. He's been very professional and mannerable. And y'all still been watching this man his whole career since what, 2008? The man's from Cleveland Avenue. If you know Cleveland Avenue in Atlanta, that's the hood. Just like any other hood, you're going to know people. You're going to have family members. You're going to have everybody who is either drug related, drug addicted, selling whatever. Just because he had a nice amount of quantity, you showed and proved that he wasn't trying to sell it. He don't need to sell drugs. He's a celebrity. He making money cross seas. Was he just come from with Norway or something like that? So obviously he wasn't intent to sell drugs. That's probably his amount that he smoked weed for his personal use. But because he's black, that's trying to make it like he's a drug dealer. This man is a millionaire. He has his own label. He employs people legally, corporately. He don't need to sell drugs. But y'all want to blanket him and racially profile this man and make a part of a crime that y'all ain't got no evidence of. Just because he said slime in his label, YSL, he's a founder of his own company. That don't mean that he's blood. You know how many poses there are, imitators anyway? He's a rapper. Shoot, Lil Wayne wasn't a blood. Are y'all getting Lil Wayne? Come on. Let's be honest. What's the big agenda here? The big agenda is to get us and rid us as a nation off these streets. To have our women and bring the Ukrainians up in here and everybody else that's from other foreign land to occupy the space for whatever deal that Joe Biden did. That's how racist this is. Are y'all getting at the KKK? That's a gang. That's one of the most notorious gangs in history. I ain't seen not one of them KKK members got locked up ever, or homes been raided in them suburbs and them country areas like y'all do in the black neighborhoods. Are y'all getting the Albanians off the streets? What about the Green Dragons, the White Tigers, the Chinese Crips? Are y'all getting at them? No. This is strictly a racist agenda, and they're using our own people to do it. Giving anybody conspiracy. Anybody can get a conspiracy charge because everybody know people. That don't mean that you're a part of something, but it's sad how they brainwashing us in the community with these frivolous tactics. This man need to be home with his family. He paid his debt to society. Y'all couldn't stick him even on the charges that y'all wouldn't get rid of. Y'all ain't got no evidence on those charges. Y'all ain't have it, but y'all offer a grudge because he's a law-abiding citizen. Grant that man his freedom. Or give him house arrest or something. Restrict him on certain things. But don't throw that man in jail for things that he ain't do or anybody else. Whatever's good enough for the goose should be good enough for the gander. That's a whole fact. You're going to charge this man off of music that the label probably told him to create just to make money? Because, you know, that's how these A&Rs play. That's how the producers play. You want a label, you gotta write or sing what I tell you to say. Because you sign your rights away to that. Are they getting locked up? Are the record owners being locked up? Did Jay-Z ever go to jail with all them bricks that he promote in songs? Is he in jail? The man's up here promoting and glorifying all those bricks of cocaine that his partner got caught with. He was glorifying to be the drug dealer, but because he's part of Rock Nation, he's off the hook. Look at Jeezy. He off the hook. Look at Rick Ross. Is Rick Ross in jail? If y'all want to use music, let's be real. Let's be real. He come in talking about every day he a hustler, right? Is he in jail? But you want to pick on Young Thug? What, did he violate something? Did he go against an oath? So y'all want to punish this man like I did Casanova? Is that what it is? We see the agenda here. Are y'all mad because he has his own label? I want to get rid of him like I did Dolph. Inquiring minds want to know what the motive and purpose is and why you attacking this man, Young Thug, and gunning the rest of them. And try to say he's off for a murder or... Because his gun's clearly a claim. Every other state just about is legal for weed. He don't need to be a drug dealer. He has too much money and he's living the right way, cooperating and doing the right thing. These charges look like it's a setup to me. This seems fishy. I need to grant them their freedom because they staying out of trouble. That's a record label. He went legit. If he was a blood in the past, he in the blood now. He ain't active. If he has blood in the past, he ain't active. Are y'all getting whack 100 with all this Pyru stuff? All the people in Clubhouse? Oh, they cooperating, working with the machine. They working with the police to get us locked up. Big U, the rest of them, they working with the machine, huh? So they got some sort of diplomatic immunity because they cooperating on who's who for your investigations and make y'all fall for the bait by promoting these gang stuff because Whack 100 looks cool. He had a history. But he's working with y'all to get other people indicted, investigated. He working with 6ix9ine, who's a known snitch. And look at him doing the same thing like 6ix9ine, exposing people's paperwork, investigating on Larry Hoover and the rest of them, causing drama with Jay Prince, trying to eliminate the competition so he can have the money to himself. Eliminate you. Snakes versus snakes, extortionists versus extortionists, all working for the system like CIA tactics. Youth, we need to wake up. It's a war on the black man. And they're using these bitter women who are ashamed of their race, who quick to marry the opposite, the Caucasoids, okay? Because they're ashamed of their race, because they see the attack and war on America is not cool and it doesn't fit their profile running for certain positions in office. I'm going to be real. They got to sell themselves out for that bag. Just to be relevant. They're trying to move up in higher positions off the sake of us. Get rid of these tattoos on y'all. Get rid of your affiliations. Get legit and stay low like you on the run. Because ain't nobody in office or position. Where's TD Jakes at? Where's the church at? Where's these prominent black figures that got a voice who could see through the smoke screen to fight and defend for what's right? Now, if they're clearly wrong, that's on them. But for those who just caught up and trapped in a system and a beast for living right, this was a public lynching. It's a public lynching. This man was doing everything possible to remain legal and responsible for his family the right way. He was employing his people, getting them jobs through the label, getting them off the streets by their music, trying to go legit. If they were blood, they ain't active. So they shouldn't be held with any kind of conspiracy charges for weed and a couple of guns when that's their constitutional right to have a gun. You saying because we black we can't have a gun in our house? That's what it sounds like to me. We're not allowed to smoke weed because we black? Because y'all not raiding any other nation or any other community, especially in the suburbs. And they all be affiliated and have ties with something. From the Albanians to the Latinos with the MS-13 and the 18th Street and the NF-14s. I don't see none Latin Kings and Salvadorians with pride and all these different people. All these different groups. Are you targeting them like you targeting us? No, you're not. Because half of y'all don't speak the language. And y'all don't want to be bothered with that. And the majority of them are so overwhelmed because they don't have a lot of they got green cards. They don't really have their citizenship. Y'all don't want to deal with the paperwork, being lazy. And they doing all types of crimes in front of you. You're not targeting the skinheads. You're not targeting the Nazi lowriders. You're not targeting any kind of Albanians. You're not targeting none of them. Mexican mafia. You ain't targeting them. Only the dark-skinned blacks y'all targeting. You're not targeting no Aryan nations like that. You're not targeting KKK. You're not targeting no Hells Angels, pagans, Mongols, none of them. I don't see in the suburbs them raiding up the spots and having all these police cameras and all that stuff. And in the suburbs, like y'all do in the urban areas, there's more gang members in the suburbs probably now than they are in the urban areas. If not equal. All these white kids, they have more quantities of the best quality weed, according to strain. Have all the coke, all the meth in all these suburban areas, and y'all just ride by them. You guys be hanging in their houses, talking and joking around, just drinking beers with them. See how racist this is? It's so bad that white kids know that. And then when they get drugs, they use a black person as a decoy to get it for them. Come on. How many weed plants are grown in these white suburban homes? In the backyards and in the basements and all that stuff. Electric bills be through the roof. Through the roof. And y'all roll right by. Y'all can smell the weed all in the grass. All in the backyards. Y'all don't say anything to them at all. They got all them tattoos saying all kinds of crazy stuff. Y'all not targeting them. But you want to target somebody who got a YSL chain? Look at the contradictions. Somebody need to defend that man's rights. This is a shame. Youth, pay attention. Because the hunt is on and you're the prey. The hunt is on and you're the prey. He's trying to get you eliminated off these streets. You are a menace to society by your skin color. And it's making it clear more and more, just because you dark and you dress a certain color or whatever it is, they're going to try to tie you into some sort of gang. You got tattoos, they're going to try to tie you into a certain gang. They're on your Facebook pages. They're on your Twitter accounts. They're all in Clubhouse. They're all in your Instagram. They're all in your photos. National security is using those tools to investigate you and your families. A process of elimination. That way they don't have to pay you nothing. They're trying to keep the money for themselves. You're free labor to them by getting you locked up where they have to pay you nothing. Have your women for themselves. Lock you up. It's like modern day slavery all over again. You see these spooks sitting by the door? They falling for the agenda for a bag. They're selling out your race for a bag. Just like these rappers are selling out their race for a bag. They in bed with the enemy. Kamala Harris is very quiet when it comes down to these racial topics. We're your prominent black figures. They're doing it everywhere. Not just everywhere, it's just process elimination. They target our black athletes. They target our black actors. And strip them for every reward they work for, like with Will Smith. Why you only see black actors in the news for crimes, but you don't really see white actors hardly in the news for anything? They get everything stripped from them. You don't see that happening with white actors. From Red Fox, Sammy Davis Jr., all of them died broken, penniless, and miserable, and lonely. Michael Jackson, Prince, you see? Cuba Gooding Jr., now Will Smith. This goes on and on and on with black entertainers. Whitney Houston, and the ones that still living on they penniless. Look at the agenda. How come we never got our reparations? Like Tariq Nasheed kept talking about. True. Look what the money they give the Ukrainians that's living in your gentrified neighborhoods and get rid of you. Now, I was just in Trump Village a week ago. Out there in Brooklyn. You see some of the Ukrainians up in there? They walk around freely. Police don't even harass none of the kids. They don't even say anything to them. But let a bunch of blacks, this is Brooklyn. Let a bunch of blacks walk through together. We're labeled as a gang. We're labeled as a gang. Go to Cleveland Avenue, 4 or 5 of y'all in Atlanta. You're labeled as a gang. Stand in front of a store, 4 or 5 of you at one time. You could just finish sponsoring the store, support the store. You're labeled as a gang. They'll automatically think you a drug dealer or you up to no good. And they're using our blacks that want to be in certain positions to be down with them to rid you, your youth, off the streets. Boys, my boys in particular, you see what's going on? That gang stuff, you're automatically deemed a criminal. Don't even think about smoking weed. Anything. I wouldn't even carry a cigarette. And now you got this big fentanyl problem that came out of nowhere. This is process elimination. Smart is the new gangster. Ask God to order your steps. Ask God in your life. Protects you from the enemy, from these traps that's out here. Change your ways. Your music is being used and deemed against you. You're not doing it with any other genre but yours. You can't even walk down a block with your friends without being picked up and targeted and set up or entrapped, meaning got things planted on you. For what? For a promotion? To fulfill an agenda? The hunt is on. Pray for my man, Young Thug. And Gunner. I'm hoping that they weren't living legit. But for these stupid charges in Atlanta, it doesn't make any sense. Easy.